Thanks for listening to a Midwest Conversation podcast. If you want to listen to the show a day early for free, head over to midwestconversation.substack.com and use your email to sign up. You'll get the audio version of the show sent right to you every Saturday at 9 a.m. If you want even more, there's a video version of the show that drops on Friday nights. That show is only available for paying members, $5 per month, and every Friday the video version of the show will be sent directly to your inbox. Head on over to midwestconversation.substack.com to sign up. If you can, become a paid member. You'll get the video version of the show on Fridays, and it helps support me and keep the show independent. Thanks very much. Back to the show. Everybody knows last week, House Representative in the state of Ohio, Larry Householder, was expelled from his seat because of allegations of a bribery scheme that's been going on, still moving its way through the court system. But there were two local reporters, Ben Peters and Cole, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Behrens, don't know. Ben Peters, Cole Behrens, they are reporters for an Athens newspaper, and they, let's see here, what did they, let me pull up the Athens, so an Athens newspaper, two reporters, they were trying to get in contact with their local representative, Jay Edwards. He is a Republican who is in the House, the Ohio House, that represents Nelsonville, expel Householder. Well, apparently he didn't like that very much. Let's see. And he was very frank with them. He was very cold to them, according to the piece written by both of them. It was a co-authored piece by Cole and Ben, saying, let's see, he didn't really give a solid answer, and he said, you'll just have to wait and see. He also said he doesn't feel like this is the way journalism works. Jay Edwards said that, quote, they have him quoted here in the article talking about he didn't like being followed around by journalists. And he also said he was going to put out a statement about why he voted no. And when pressed, and reporters pressed him in the hallway of the chamber, they said, well, when's the statement going to come out? And he said, when I feel like it. So it was kind of a little bit of a dramatic situation. But he did finally release a statement on the 23rd. Today is the 25th, so 2 days ago. And I'm going to read the statement, and it's kind of, it's a long one, so bear with me here, and then we're going to talk about the statement. So the statement reads, yesterday at the State House, I was approached by two young men and a young woman identifying themselves as reporters from my district. I'm not accustomed to seeing constituents at the State House, let alone local reporters. I was excited to have our local press see firsthand the important issues we are debating and the work I am doing to make sure Southeast Ohio's voice is always heard. The timing was especially good because we are in the midst of wrapping up work on Ohio's new 2-year state budget, the most important bill we pass each session of the General Assembly. Budgets are about priorities, and this one is no different. We are working to provide meaningful tax relief and increase funding for our schools. We are fighting to keep and create jobs in Southeast Ohio and supporting infrastructure, job training, and broadband, and more. We have a real opportunity to have a positive impact for our region with this budget. Unfortunately, these issues aren't what captures the media's attention these days. Instead, it is my vote on the expulsion of Larry Householder. This is the first time an Athens County reporter has been to the State House in 4.5 years, and they choose to spend their time reporting about an issue that won't change the life of one person in the 94th House District. Here are the facts. Here are the facts. Our Constitution is the foundation of our society. Supporting it is the heart of my oath and my commitment to the 94th District. It is also the heart of why the bipartisan vote against expelling a lawmaker elected by his constituents to represent them in Columbus. There are 3 ways to remove a sitting legislator. Someone found guilty of a felony is automatically removed. A member may be expelled for disorderly conduct, which is defined in state law and not applicable in this instance. The third way to remove a member of the legislature is an impeachment trial. This is the proper procedure and one that should have been followed, complete with a trial, presenting of evidence, calling witnesses, in other words, due process. The indictment against Householder came out of July 2020. Even after all the bad publicity, he was still elected in November. I am not a voter in the 72nd House District, and I have no right to take away the vote from nearly 32,000 people who voted for him to serve them in the State House. Even my Democratic colleague, Joe Miller, from Amherst, Ohio, admitted this was all about playing politics and casting his vote not to overturn the November election of the people of the 72nd District. So there you have it. Meanwhile, away from the media spotlight, our work on critical issues for Ohio families continues. While this may not generate headlines, it generates opportunity for the people of Southeast Ohio. What a missed opportunity for these young journalists. Now, I can kind of see where he's coming from. If really an Athens reporter hasn't been to Columbus in 4.5 years, it's kind of a shame that they drove all this way just to ask this one question. But Jay Edwards, according to both reporters, Ben and Cole on Twitter, they had been reaching out to him all week to get a reason for his no vote, and he had been ducking their calls and texts and emails. And it's also funny because this specific legislator, Jay Edwards, was appointed by Householder when Householder was still in office, and at the time the Speaker of the Ohio House, Householder appointed Edwards to a leadership role. And Edwards had admitted that Householder and him were personal friends. So that is why the journalists were after a statement on why he voted no to expel, because of their personal ties and the fact that Householder appointed him to a leadership role. Now, he goes on in the statement, and he says he doesn't have the right to remove someone from the district, that he's not a part of that district, so he has no right to remove them. And he doesn't want to rob the 32,000 people that did vote for him, even after all the drama went down in 2020. That's the allegations and the lawsuit started in 2020, and he was still elected even after all of that. But if you look into the situation, and I covered this last week during the actual trial, in November, when Householder was elected to that seat, he was the only option. And in this statement, Jay Edwards makes it seem like the people of the 72nd District voted for him regardless of all of the drama and the mishaps. Now, that is true. They did vote for him regardless of all the drama and the mishap, but he was the only option on the ballot. So the people who came out to vote, they voted for the only option that was available. Now, does that mean that if they had a second option, they would have gone with that second option? We don't know. Maybe, maybe not. That is something that I wish there was a second option, because then we would see, if all of this drama went by and he was voted in, all right. But I have a feeling he probably wouldn't have been, So, it's just a shame to see that drama go down. Speaking of Householder's removal, over 24 people have submitted applications for the vacant spot held by Householder. And one of the applications, this was reported out by, let me see, hold on, I'm pulling it up. This was reported out by Tyler Buchanan, who works, I believe, for the Ohio Capital Journal. So, yeah, the Ohio Capital Journal is where he works. He's a reporter at the Ohio Capital Journal, and essentially it's just a publication that covers everything that happens in Columbus, the Ohio State House and everything else. So Tyler Buchanan reported this out on the 23rd when all this was going down. One of the applicants for Larry Householder's vacant seat is his fucking son, Derek. And a screening committee will conduct interviews starting yesterday and throughout this next week. Kind of funny that among the applicants for the open seat is his son. I don't know if he's thinking that he can get that spot just because of his name. We'll have to wait and see.